Greetings, Wrestle Buddies, and welcome to the now annual / consistent, pay-per-view card prediction show. This time it's for Crown Jewel. I'm joined by Nick the Geek. I'm joined by some fantastic... I'm tripping all over my words today.
I'm stumbling over his words like Jimmy does.
Yeah, I'm so nervous. That's why I was Jim in the presence of greatness. I'm joined today by, of course, some fantastic panelists. I'm joined today by Dutch Mantel himself, Tyler Peters. Tyler, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, gentlemen, and don't feel bad. I stumble over my words so much. It's become a thing. It's a theme for me, so I feel you.
That's it. And we are joined by the one and only, the Drip King himself, Jimmy, baby. How you doing?
Doing good, and as I just said, it's a thing I do on the regular. If you watch any of my shows, you see me stumbling over my words, so it happens to the best of us.
And the worst of us, in my case. Right, gents, we are here to predict the card for Crown Jewel this year. Going straight into it, I think there is one match that's been announced. We all know Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns, so we don't need to approach that match at all. Second match I'm going to broker seems like it's going to be obvious at this point is going to be Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
For sure.
Would anybody disagree with this, or do we
Not
all
at
think
all.
that's exactly?
No, I think it's going to happen.
Right.
I think my question for this match is do you see there being some kind of stipulation added to this match?
I don't see why.
To amp it up, because the last match fell flat. I think a lot of people think it fell flat. I don't think there's a single person. That's exactly what I was expecting.
No.
So to kind of just like amp it up a little bit and be like, all right, we got to give them a little bit something to make this more juicy. No DQ, something along.
I was going to say
something
a no
simple.
DQ, which is nice and simple, would elevate the match a lot. Because it'd give Bobby and Brock a chance to play with some toys and to go to the outside and to do a lot more glorious wrestling environments.
It would.
And I tend to think they at least one gimmick match per pay-per-view, I think, is the norm. And with no other, I think there's one that we could throw a gimmick in, but that's a special gimmick. So we'll touch on that a little bit. But I just think a Brock versus Bobby no DQ match. Like, I'm excited for Bobby and Brock, but if you're telling me that they can use weapons on each other, I'm going to be like, all right. Kill each other.
Makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm absolutely fine with that then. So we're going to call this one Bobby and Brock no DQ?
It's fine with me. I like it.
That's what I want to see.
Okay, Jim. Now, you just said before we went on air, a couple of women's matches.
Yes.
Now, myself, I am from the angle they seem to be going on SmackDown. I'm fully expecting Ronda versus Liv one more time. Would you agree with me, or?
I don't know, because what happened when Liv on SmackDown? She attacked.
She beat the holy living piss out of Sonya Deville and put her through a table.
Out back in the backstage. That's right.
Yeah.
And then Ronda, was Ronda even on the show?
No.
I don't recall her being on the show.
No.
I'm just
Ronda
making sure I'm not losing my mind here, because I actually did watch SmackDown. I just don't remember Ronda being on it. So, Crown Jewel, we have 3 weeks till Crown Jewel?
Yeah.
I think you would have to do Liv and Ronda again, because 3 weeks really isn't enough time. Not in the Triple H era. It's not enough time to throw a program in there for Ronda. And since Charlotte didn't come back like we all thought she would,
Charlotte is currently on a boat with Andrade in the tropics.
I saw that picture. They're enjoying themselves.
They can both stay on the boat and enjoy the rest of their lives together.
Day 9, I believe, as Andrade tweeted the other day.
So honestly, I think that kind of tells me that Charlotte's probably closer to coming back than. Yeah, I think that's because this would be like the last hurrah of their vacation. Like, let's go do this, and then Charlotte goes back to work. I wasn't fully on board last time. I think we do see Charlotte at whatever Ronda's match is. We'll just all say it's Liv. I think we all agree. I think Charlotte sticks her head in on this one.
No, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's well overdue for a Charlotte Flair return. Now she's been gone for quite a few months.
It is.
Yeah, what do you think, Dodge?
I think it does make sense to have Liv and Ronda, but I like what you guys were saying. Maybe have Charlotte, have interference if she's going to return. Maybe add a little bit more intrigue, because with all due respect to Liv and Ronda, it needs something. I mean, just even after the match, even for Charlotte or somebody, maybe Shayna. I'm going to kind of think outside the box.
I wouldn't be mad at a Shayna one.
No, neither would I.
I can't remember who we were talking about this with. They wanted Ronda and Shayna at Mania, and I'm like, that's not a Mania match. I can see it being a Saudi match, though. I can definitely see it being a Saudi match, but I don't know if they go that way. I think Liv and Ronda is just the easy answer here.
Yeah,
and I'll pull the easy card for this one. Because I can't think of something they could do. I don't think Charlotte interferes, though. I think she might just show up after the fact.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's what I would think happens, just to get that pop from Charlotte.
Yeah, the reaction.
So we'll go with Liv versus Ronda with a Charlotte Flair appearance.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna go with.
All right, now I don't know. This is just working on a theory that I have for tonight's Raw. I think Seth is a transitional champion, and I think Matt Riddle is going to take the title off him tonight. Because I think they're going to have a rematch for that title with Riddle as the champion at Crown Jewel.
They're still facing each other at house shows, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. You know what? I'm going to pull the no DQ off of Bobby and Brock.
Okay.
I think Riddle doesn't win tonight.
Okay.
And I think we get Seth versus Riddle. If they're going that route, you get the no DQ match between those two, because that's the match they've been having at house shows, is the no DQ. They've been building it up. I feel like they've just been getting in the groove of it, so when they do it, it'll be ready. And since that's your theory, I'll go with your theory. I'm just going to put a little bit of a twist on. I don't think Riddle wins that. I think Seth gets himself disqualified. Okay. And then that sets up the whole, let's do no DQ. That way he can't escape.
Can't run away with the belt.
Yes.
Yeah, that works.
I think that works. Oh, man, I don't like that.
That's fine, because this is such a hard show to predict, to be honest. So I'm having to agree. I think you guys are making a lot of sense. So it's hard for me. I'm trying to think of a different way to go about it, but I like it. I think we'll just get the no DQ, and I like how you guys are thinking. So it's hard to disagree, because this is such a different premium live event, Crown Jewels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're definitely going to cater to fans, and they can run some of the same matches over again, because that crowd isn't going to care. They're just excited to see some live wrestling. And when the crowd is hype, it really doesn't matter it can't be a horrible show, but if it's a good show, a hype crowd makes it a fantastic show.
Yeah.
And they're happy to be there.
Yeah, they always show up. So
on the subject of women's matches, Rhea Ripley is cleared to wrestle. Rhea Ripley has been wrestling on house shows. Her and Damian Priest just lost a mixed tag match to Nikki ASH and Dolph Ziggler on a house show. Dolph got up the top of the ramp at the end of it and was like, I can't believe we won, which I thought was really funny. But do we see Rhea on this show? No?
I don't think so. I think they're going to save her a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah. My thought is that she's definitely winning the Rumble.
Yeah.
And obviously she goes for the champion, who I'm hoping is Bianca at the time. I don't know how we get I don't know how it's kind of, oh man, there's a lot of stuff that kind of foils that idea. Man, I don't know. I think you want to save Rhea, though. I don't think you want to rush her back on the TV. Make people wait for her a little bit longer. That way when she does come in and start busting ass, it's like, thank God. It savors the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I don't see
the question is, do we see Bianca defending on this card as well? They do like to make a big noise at Crown Jewel. But if she is going to defend, who's she going to defend against? She just beat Bayley clean in a lot of matches.
She didn't pin Bayley, though.
This is true.
This is what I was talking about this is why I picked Bianca to win that match, is she can win the match, and then Bayley still has the argument that, hey, I pinned you, Bianca. You didn't pin me. And she can use that to get her rematch.
Okay, so do we possibly see that at Crown Jewel?
I'm going to say yes. I was going to go with a team versus team, but Survivor Series is like right after this. And we're going to have a Team Bayley versus Team Bianca for sure, 100%.
True.
So I don't see them doing that back-to-back. I think you do see Bayley versus Bianca again.
Okay.
I would agree.
I
I think
that idea though.
Yeah, I think the way they're going on Raw too. I think that's what they're leading to is the rematch.
Yeah. Right. So we've got Logan versus Roman, Brock versus Bobby, Liv versus Ronda with Charlotte Flair appearance, Seth versus Riddle no DQ, Bayley versus Bianca. Bayley versus Bianca, I reckon it's just going to be a straight up match this time.
Oh, Bayley and Bianca.
Yeah,
for sure. That way, it's
Bianca
will be like, all right, if you think, because Bayley will use that. I'm just going off the head here. Bayley uses the excuse, well, I pinned you, you couldn't pin me, and then Bianca's all right. Well, all right, no gimmicks here. If you think you're better than me, you got to beat me one-on-one on a straight up wrestling match. Off the bases, I think that's what it goes. To everybody in the chat, what's up? Thank you. I'd put you up, but I don't have access right now. So,
and I'm blind as a bat, guys. Otherwise, I would have been concentrating on this.
So
yeah, you can overdo stipulations.
Just to give some shout outs here. What up, Russ? Thanks for joining us again, even though you do hate Kevin Smith.
Hey, Courtney.
Hey,
hello, Courtney. We got David in the chat. He says Seth was facing Theory at house shows, so Riddle over Seth. Seth takes briefcase off Theory, maybe. I don't like that idea either. Everybody's on this kick of taking the briefcase off Theory.
Well, let me ask you one, just a sidebar onto that for 1 minute, Jim, because you weren't on the podcast yesterday.
Oh, and I was furious.
Yeah, right. Do you not think that it's quite apparent that Theory's not ready for the World Championship?
I'm not of that opinion. I don't think he's ready for both titles like Roman has. 100% no. You separate those titles and you put the WWE Championship on Theory. I personally think he's ready. I think the best way to find out if you have something in this kid who appears, he has the look, he has the talent, he has the mic skills, he can carry segments.
What's that? Russ, don't make me yell at you again. Master of the Universe is absolutely phenomenal.
So when I'm looking at Theory, I think he has literally everything. And he's young. He's a new face that they can push, which is what people have been complaining about in WWE forever. We want new faces to be pushed to the top. You have this kid who has literally everything. He even has heat garnered on him. It's died down a little bit, but it's very easy to get it back with him. Very, very easy. I think he has everything. You can't just sit there and just wait and wait and wait and wait. They did this with Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
And I think we all agree here that they waited way too long to put the title on Strowman because not even a year after he got the title, he was gone from the company. Because
that's waiting a little bit too.
So
too long.
I don't think you can wait. You got to strike when the iron's hot. Put a title on Theory, sink or swim, kid. Let us know if we should invest the next 10, 15 years in you, or if we got to start going and looking somewhere else. Okay. If he has a 2-month reign, a la, what was it? Randy Orton's first reign was a month.
Yeah.
And he did just fine. So you gotta just let the kid sink or swim. Don't put both titles on. Doesn't work.
Well, as that is the case, we are on the subject of Theory. Theory Gargano, Crown Jewel, nay.
That's what I was gonna go with. You get Theory Gargano at Crown Jewel, and I do think the briefcase gets put up.
Okay.
I think Gargano has a chance to win it, but I don't think he does win it.
You don't think there's another person figured in, maybe?
I know y'all guys were talking about I'm talking about Kevin Smith again. Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens don't do Saudi shows.
Oh, okay.
No.
So,
well, that makes sense. I didn't think about that. I just kind of saw that as a rumor. He
stands with Sammy in solidarity. So now he's not going to the thing. I think that's the reason they did Gargano and Theory on Raw and had Gargano beat him so that they can run it back and then Theory can get that win. And then his losing streak's over and we can stop saying that he's buried everybody.
No, right. One, they've not buried him.
No, I know.
I have the complete opinion that they have not buried him. They have done what they do with all money in the bank holders, which is build them down. So when they eventually cash in, it's a much bigger surprise and everybody is shocked. It's just the way they do the money in the bank.
And the way I see it, I think there's an extra twist to the Theory one because, again, I've been on this kick of Paul Heyman joining Theory for a good minute now. And
That would be
when
interesting.
when Roman mentioned, hey, he needs his own special counsel, that's just one of those things that clicks in my head. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
In theory, when he cashes in, he always does it at the worst possible time.
Yes, he does.
He's not smart enough to cash it in. He's got everything else. He just doesn't have the experience or the brain. Or yes. So you put Paul Heyman with him that lets him know, hey, this is when it happens. This is when you do it. Strike now. And then that makes sense because Paul Heyman is the last little key
Piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, there you go. Last piece of the puzzle for Theory to get over that hump and win that WWE title. That's how I see it happen. I've said this for months now. That's how I think this is going, and I'm not backing off it yet because I'm watching Theory, and you're seeing it happen where he's literally just fumbling every opportunity he's been given right now. He's got the briefcase. He was on fire until he got that briefcase. Vince is gone. Now he's like kind of like, yo, this isn't working for me anymore. He's going to have to go elsewhere, get that special counsel, and then that's going to bring him back to the promised land, and he can be off to the races again.
Okay. I like that theory.
And Johnny Gargano he's slowly getting back to Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
I think Austin Theory versus Gargano at the Saudi show will be the match of the night, 100%.
I would agree with that.
It'll be a good match.
100%.
The one thing is, like, everybody knows Johnny can go. Like, as Scott Hall once said, all that really matters in this business is whether you can go. And I don't think a lot of people realize Theory can go. Like,
for sure.
That guy's got chops. He's good in the ring, right? He's not
fantastic.
Just a rookie. He's really good in the ring, and he's got a really unique way of doing things. That match, I would agree, is probably going to steal the whole show. Like, I can't see how it doesn't. If they give them 20 minutes, it's going to be an absolute banger.
I said this a few months ago. There's been one match where I saw Theory, because he's been in there with the names. It's not like he's going in there and losing to R-Truth, and he's losing to people like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. It's
losing to top end guys.
Who he's losing to. Drew McIntyre. If he was beating these guys, people would be mad.
Yeah, the damn right. They'd be like, he's a rookie. How's he supposed to be beating him?
Of all the matches he's been in, there's only been one time where I thought he looked out of place, and it was when he was in the ring with like five other guys that are main eventers.
Yeah.
And it's like, he kind of looked like he was a little bit scared. But again, I think that sink or swim mentality. You gotta find out.
Yeah.
Everything else, though, he's been beautiful. It's been
his work rate's awesome.
Yeah. So
right, guys, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches. We need 2 more.
Okay, question though before we do that. Do you think this because we said one gimmick match per pay-per-view, do you see it just being a straight up match for the briefcase, or do you think they incorporate a ladder into it?
No, I'd see it being a straight up match for the briefcase.
Okay. I'm just a question.
Otherwise you're effectively having 2 Money in the Bank matches a year, and
I get that. I get that, but watching NXT, I know they like to use a lot of ladder matches for things. They use ladder matches for number 1 contenderships.
They do like using ladder matches for things.
Yeah, they use them a lot.
Yeah, so
okay. Well, I'll put down possibility ladder match.
Okay. So we got. Let's see who else.
Here's one maybe for even the kickoff, and this may be far-fetched, but Gallows and Anderson came back recently. Do we see them taking on like Damian Priest and Dominic?
I was just about to bring up Judgment Day.
Yeah, I think we may get the actual 6-man Dominic, Damian, and Balor versus
AJ.
The OC.
Yeah, the OC.
The OC.
Right.
Do you see a possibility of it being a 8-man match where you add in Ray? No. Because they're both
because Ray's on SmackDown now.
That don't matter.
It does from a story standpoint. He's moved to SmackDown to get away from Judgment Day. He's not going to instantly reinsert himself.
And then when Judgment Day shows up next week to screw him out of his IC title match, and then Edge says, hey man, we need you. You don't have to mess with Ray, with Dom. We just need you for everybody else. I don't know.
Possibility.
They could.
It's a possibility. It depends on how Edge is writing Judgment Day, I suppose, because apparently that's his creative baby. So,
because I keep seeing people talk about this idea that y'all talked about it, and I was like, what the heck? I don't even know where it came from, but Dom becoming IC champion.
Right, that was Simon.
I would hate if Gunther has been built up all this time.
Yes,
Just for him to lose to Ray so that they can use that title for a storyline. This is exactly the kind of stuff Vince was doing and why that title means shit now. You can't use that title for storyline purposes. You can have storylines revolving around it.
I would agree, but you have to admit, having Ray simply refuse to fight Dominic, then lie down and hand him the belt, nuclear heat.
You can use that at Survivor Series.
Yeah, this is true.
You don't do it with the IC title. That would just go ahead.
I desperately don't want them to do the IC title.
No.
The only thing I'm looking forward to about Ray versus Gunther is Rey Mysterio is better at telling David and Goliath than any wrestler that's ever been born. Gunther is the ultimate Goliath.
I am just waiting to see Gunther smack this man into the fifth row.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
He's going to send Rey Mysterio.
Ray's more like my very first favorites from back in the day. So it's not hate on Ray. I just think it's going to be hilarious when he gets chopped that first time. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, because he's tiny. And
So-
it's going to look like he's caved his chest.
Yeah, so let's run it back to the Judgment Day thing. Do you think they just do a straight up 6-man?
Yeah.
Edge not involved.
I think they do a straight up 6-man.
I don't think it hurts Edge he don't need to be involved on every match. I think you could keep him away, or maybe he comes out. I don't know.
The thing is, this is a Saudi show, and Saudi Prince likes all the big stars. So you think
has Edge done a Saudi show before?
Yes, he did the Hell in a Cell against Seth.
That's right. Man, I don't know. The Judgment Day thing is kind of hard right now. It's cool because they're involved with so much, but then when we're in situations like this where we're trying to pinpoint things, it's very hard.
Which way did it go?
Yeah,
it's different.
For me, the Gallows, Anderson, and AJ thing makes the most sense because that's the most recent notch in the story.
And Anderson said, "Hey, I'll go back to WWE if they give me money for a Saudi show, so I could buy another pool."
Yeah.
So the timing of him coming back is perfect.
Yeah. Hey, real life. He said it.
Daddy wants a new pool, man.
I love Carl Anderson.
I just don't see, because you talk about Edge being on the show, there's no other place for him. So I don't know what you do with it.
You think it may be misplaced if he's a little bit, like you're saying, why feature him does he always have to be involved? Even though he's a big part of it, don't get me wrong.
I'm going to go ahead and say Edge doesn't have a match.
Okay, I'll go with that.
I think we're going to see him not on TV. He wasn't on Raw last week.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I see him being off TV for a while, kind of nursing Beth back for storyline purposes. Maybe he makes an appearance after the match. That's what I was thinking. I'm definitely going the OC versus Judgment Day. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, and that's not going to have a gimmick on it. It doesn't need one.
No, it doesn't need one. You just have to, because then you can just stretch that even on. Because Survivor Series, Judgment Day is involved in something in Survivor Series, 110%.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Even if it's not War Games, which I think it will be.
It's so hard because it's like, how many War Games matches are they going to have?
Ideally, 3. 1 to open the show, 1 in the middle, 1 to close the show.
But then don't you kind of risk
oversaturating the gimmick?
Kind of like how they do Hell in a Cell.
Well, in that case, 1 women's, 1 men's.
Yeah.
So, Damage Control and Partners versus.
Yeah, I know the women's one for sure.
Yeah, Team Bianca versus Team Bailey is basically going to be that one, I reckon. But for the men's,
I know everyone's got this thought that Bloodline has to be in one, but if there's nothing logical, then you don't.
Who are they going to face?
Yeah, you don't do it.
There's no opposing.
Although they did just start something with the Brawling Brutes on SmackDown.
That is true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The thing is, it depends on what type of War Games match it's going to be. Is it going to be a 4-man team or a 3-man team?
Yeah.
Because if it's going to be a 3-man team,
5-man, they could do 5-man because that's what they were doing with the brand supremacy stuff. 5-man teams.
Yeah.
So, man, I just want to say I love the creative team right now because they are. Usually these things are pretty easy. This has been the hardest one so far because
I was going to say you and me have done about 5 of these now, and most of them have been quite cookie cutter.
The fingerprints are like everywhere with certain things, and I like it. But
that's very
cool.
Survivor
Series. We'll stick to Crown Jewel. OC versus Judgment Day. I like that one.
Right, that is match number 7, gents. We need 1 more.
Let's do 2 more. I don't want to count the Roman Paul one.
Okay.
And like I said, I think this will be. I think this has the chance to be like a 10 match card.
Okay,
Because it is the Saudi show.
The other match that I think is going to happen is Braun Strowman versus Omos.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go to sleep.
They're doing this match specifically for David.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, yeah, pretty much just for David.
They know how much that man wants to see this match.
Yeah, they do, but it's got to happen. They started the setup for it on SmackDown this week. They've got 3 weeks to go. It screams Saudi show.
And this is a 5-minute match, and that's why you can have 9-10 matches on this card. So that fits.
It's kind of like that old WrestleMania format where they had all the short matches.
Yeah.
Now I know Miz and Loomis are wrestling tonight. Do we think that carries over somehow?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I
I'm just kind of throwing and stuff out there because
I got you.
Like what you're saying, it's so hard to predict the matches, how it's going to go.
Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if the match didn't happen tonight and they just extend it to Saudi where you get Dexter and Miz over there. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. If they don't
just
give
do
me
a
a
tease.
reason for it though tonight, I'm going to lose my mind because there's not even a hint
as to why he's doing this. No, it's just Dexter's a psycho, so he's doing this to Miz. That is the only answer that has been given so far.
Yeah, they're not making much sense, like what you guys are talking about.
Since we brought it up, let's just ask this question real quick. If you were booking this thing right here, what would be your motive for Dexter Loomis? I'm very curious because I just can't think of something that makes sense.
I'd have him be Miz's estranged brother.
Interesting.
Why
is he attacking his estranged brother?
Because he's obsessed with him. Because he's got a mental illness that causes him to be overly obsessed with people that he cares about. That's why he keeps stroking Miz every time he gets him down. He doesn't want to hurt him. He wants to protect him. And in his own twisted way, this is the only way he can protect him.
I mean, he did hit him in the nuts with a hockey stick. So, I mean, he did hurt him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would hurt you.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I'm just spitballing.
I'm listening. I'm just trying. Again, I'm trying to wrap my head around this because this is probably the most frustrating thing in all of wrestling to me right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Some of the segments are still very entertaining to me, but once I get through it, I'm like, why did I just watch that again? Why am I watching this? And that's what drives me crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, what's the appeal?
We should have
at least an iota of an inkling. Just an inkling as to why.
See, I want to know more about Dominic, the story why he doesn't like Ray. I think there could be more layers on that too.
Because Rhea took his virginity, and now he's been reminded that he's actually Eddie Guerrero's son.
Tyler,
well, that works.
We were saying yesterday, I'm gonna ask you this question: if Rhea came up to you and she whispered in your ear, "Yo, beat his ass, do it for me," are you gonna beat his ass?
I'm gonna try because if I've got a shot at her, you ain't gonna tell this Tennessee boy nothing. There's something in the water down there in Australia, I'll tell you.
At least with the Dom thing, I have a sliver of an idea of why he did it.
Yeah.
With Dexter, I don't. My thought is that maybe because Miz is a movie star, and there's that with John Lennon, he was murdered by a psycho fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of mentality is how Dexter's approaching. That's my only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, that works.
But I don't know. It's so frustrating. Don't put this on the Saudi show. Don't put it.
Don't put it on the Saudi show.
Do it.
Right, bringing it back to the Saudi show as we just went off on a tangent.
Yes, we did.
Braun, Omos, yes or no?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I want to include that in our I still think I want the 2 matches because I don't think that match takes long at all.
No, I think it takes like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So,
what about Drew? What do we see Drew doing?
Well, Drew and Cross is definitely not done.
No.
Right. So Cross was in that car crash, which I thought was brilliant because only one of the cars had damage, and the car that Scarlett and Cross got out of did not have damage, which was kind of hilarious.
I didn't catch that part. I was just too busy
I didn't either.
The fact that your top babyface is beating someone up who just got in a car.
Just got out of a car crash.
I know.
I thought that
was
awesome.
A role model.
No wonder the people are saying Drew's turning heel. No, you're not jumping on me, cat. Sorry.
Let him up there. So Do you see? Man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so hard because, like you said, the storylines, the way they're doing them. Oh,
What is up, Kitty?
hey, Kitty.
Such a freaking cute cat.
Yeah, it's a pretty cat.
I love that cat so much.
He's awesome.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Drew. I'm gonna throw just a random match out there. Drew versus Solo. I think Cross is going to be held off TV for this story thing, whatever they're doing with it. Okay. Maybe he can't go to the Saudi show. I don't know. Maybe he can't, and that's why they did this. I don't know. I don't see them doing Cross and Drew at Saudi though.
No.
I'll go with
that. If we say Drew isn't on this card, what about the Bloodline?
I was just about to say,
we know Sammy can't be there.
We need to have the Usos defend those titles because I don't think they have the past 2 pay-per-views.
No. So I'm thinking it's going to be the New Day.
That's right. Yeah.
That's Usos versus the New Day?
New Day versus Usos. I'm for it.
I mean, that's what they've been doing on SmackDown anyways, kind of teasing that.
And I'm just going to throw this little idea. My buddy Mike, Nunny Boy, he said, because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to watch New Day versus Usos again. And he brought up this nice little idea as to why they're doing it, and it gets me invested a little bit. How did he put it? New Day are literally only doing this to prevent the Usos
from breaking their record.
And if you're going to give me this match again, I think that's the simplest and most effective way of telling this story.
Yeah.
I think you see the New Day break up after this. Ooh. If anything, go their separate ways.
Okay.
Because if their legacy is now officially gone to the Usos, they've been doing this for so long, they literally cannot do anything else at this point.
None tag teams.
Just go their separate ways. That's something I see happening after this match because I don't see New Day winning.
No, and it opens up the creative for something else you could do.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I'd agree with that. I like that idea. I mean,
there's so many people
I thought the New Day are kind of past their sell-by date for a while now as a team. They've done everything they can do. There's not much more that there is left for them to do as a team. In fact, if anything, so you might as well have them split. There's plenty for Kofi to do. You're not going to have them do a
heel run, which I don't even know you could do with them at this point. Then what's the point?
No, they're 2 over
together. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of names not on this list that's kind of bothering me. Drew, Gunther, Sheamus.
Yeah, there's so many.
Do you think they run back Gunther and Sheamus?
I was thinking that. I was just about to say because I don't think Ray's winning. In any way, shape, or form. Gunther's just gonna slap him from pillar to post.
I will fucking riot if Rey Mysterio takes that title off of Gunther. I'm not even joking.
I won't be happy either.
I want to see that video too because no one knew.
If you want to showcase, if you want,
I'll have the camera ready.
Yeah.
If you want to showcase Gunther the best way possible at the moment, Sheamus is the best opponent for that.
I think Sheamus wins though.
In Saudi?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I can see that. To be fair, the whole point of him being built up to the IC title is for Sheamus to finally win it. So.
Yeah. And I think you are going to see at least one title change.
Yeah.
I was on board for Bayley beating Bianca. I'm not anymore.
Okay.
I don't know. There's just something about it I'm not with.
You think she's losing momentum because of the whole storyline? It was cool when it first started, but now the way it's going.
I think my problem is that I'm visibly seeing, like I'm clearly seeing that Bayley and that faction are taking time away from other talent.
Yes, they are.
And I like Bayley. I think Bayley.
Oh, I do.
We're talking about the 4 horsewomen. I think
Bayley's the best,
most complete of the 4 ladies.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of. They're taking up multiple segments, and most of the segments don't even do anything. There's no reason.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
they're being booked all over TV, and with the exception of Bayley cutting decent promos.
Yeah, if it's the engineer something, I'm cool with it. But most of the time, they're just in the back, and they're like, ding dong, I'm gonna beat you, Bianca, and that's it.
And she could do more connectable promos than just that.
If you were to take
she's
out
one of the best.
If you were to take out all their backstage things, you'd have enough time to run one of their, infamous 3-minute women's matches. And it may be a 3-minute women's match, but at least they're getting a chance to get out there and make the most of the time they're given, as opposed to just watching Bayley say "ding dong."
No, that's good analysis.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem they're running into.
We need one more match.
I think we got to find something for Drew, man.
It's got to be Drew, yeah.
What's that? We have to have a Drew match. So we're doing.
Well, what about Gunther versus Drew?
I don't think you can do that in the middle of the story with Sheamus.
Yeah.
I don't know how Sheamus gets back to Gunther because he has to do something to get back to him. But I think that has to happen.
No, I'd agree with that. Right, so if we're not going to do Drew Cross, who's the next logical opponent for Drew?
That's why I just threw out Solo's name. At least we know Solo can go to Saudi.
Yeah.
He's been pushed pretty favorably, but then you're putting Drew back into the bloodline.
Oh, wait a minute. What if it's not Drew? What if it's Solo and Sheamus? Solo and Sheamus had a bit of a back and forth in that match on Friday.
Who would you do with Gunther? What would you do with Gunther? Do you just not give him a match? I think we're at risk of Gunther not getting a match at this show.
I think there's a risk of Gunther not getting a match at this show. Do we know if Gunther's cool with going to Saudi Arabia?
I don't know. The only people I know for a fact are not going is
Kevin and Sammy.
KO and Sammy. Gargano might be the kind of person that doesn't want to go.
It's interesting because that puts a lot of it into perspective. Yeah. Who wants to go? Who doesn't? This one is so challenging though. I'm trying to think of who had issues, where you could go storyline wise, like you guys are discussing, and it's still. I'm finding myself at that point where I'm still confused.
I'm gonna throw out a random match, and I'm gonna tell you why I got it, and you can tell me if you like it. Karrion Kross was supposed to be part of that number 1 contenders match. He was taken out, wasn't allowed to be in it. What if you find a way to get Gunther versus Kross, and then Drew inserts himself into it because he's not done with Karrion Kross, and you get a triple threat between Gunther, Karrion Kross, and Drew McIntyre?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's completely out of left field, but
it's completely out of left field. But Ray's going to have been squashed 2 weeks before Crown Jewel anyway, so they do need another match for Sheamus. Yeah. Sorry, for Gunther. Yeah, okay, I'll go with
Sheamus
that.
And Solo, just as a throwaway, opening match to kind of get things popping.
And it still gives you a big match too, a big fight feel.
You get Solo in a nice position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gents, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 matches.
Obviously, they don't all make it, but I do think we get probably 10 matches. I do think that.
I agree. Okay, so starting from the top, we've got the obvious one of Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. We've got Brock versus Bobby. We've got Liv versus Ronda with a Charlotte Flair appearance/interference
for the SmackDown Women's
Championship. Seth versus Riddle for the US title, no DQ. Bayley versus Bianca, straight wrestler match. Theory versus Gargano with the briefcase on the line, possibly a ladder match if they decide to insert a ladder into there. Judgment Day versus the OC. Braun Strowman versus Omos. Usos versus the New Day. Drew versus Gunther versus Cross. And Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa.
Okay. And just to touch on some of the comments, we got, I don't know if it's Andy or Dale, whichever one it is, from Touch Wrestling. Does Charlotte Flair show up? Yeah, we talked about that at the very beginning. I think Charlotte Flair shows up at the end of the Liv Ronda match that we think happens. And then David says top end booking with the ladies. It's not working. And I agree. I hate that I'm even saying that about Bayley. I really do.
That's good points.
It's not working for me. So.
Yeah, something's definitely missing. And it's a shame because we're talking Bayley here.
And you have a talent like Alexa. I know in the ring, Alexa ain't all that, but as far as character work and promo and all that,
Alexa Bliss has the potential to be the new Trish Stratus, and somebody needs to see this.
I think she already is. That's my thing. Is like,
yeah,
she already is. The women's division is just so full of talent that a person on Trish's level just doesn't stand out like Trish did.
Yeah.
But Alexa has done, to me, her and Trish's story are almost identical as far as how they started, how they got in, and how they've evolved into what we've gotten. And for you to not be doing something with Alexa Bliss it's kind of wild to me.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
she's been lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say for months now.
Yeah, you have Asuka on in that division who you used those two for like a month, and then it was just to help Io and Dakota kind of get over, and then you push them to the side.
That was it.
Doudrop needs to be given a rebirth of sorts because Doudrop is phenomenal.
Oh, she's great. That's what's a shame.
Viper, Piper Niven, whatever you want to call her, because I refuse to call her friggin' Doudrop, is one of the best indie wrestlers to ever come out of Scotland.
I absolutely love her. I think she's great.
Unbelievable. She's the modern day Klondike Kate and does not get enough credit for what she's going to do. Right? She needs a repackage. She needs a repackage now. Like, desperately.
David says
she needs
Mustafa Ali is going to be on the show. And that brings up a good point because I do feel like they got to get Mansoor on there somehow.
Maximum Male Models versus LA Knight
in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Yeah,
that could happen. That could definitely happen.
Yeah.
David, how did
I'm going to add that one.
I don't know if Mustafa Ali is like a guaranteed one that's always been on the Crown Jewel shows, but I know Mansoor has been. Mansoor, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, he has. Because that's where he got his break, was it not?
He showed up and won that 50 greatest Royal Rumble.
Right.
We're like, who the heck is this guy?
I know, and no disrespect, but nobody knew who it was. They were okay, because it wasn't no video packages or kind of anybody telling you his story.
I honestly don't even know if I see Mansoor in a match. I think we're just seeing in a segment in which he just gets goofy and probably gets his butt kicked.
Well, I've written down Maximum Male Models versus LA Knight in a handicap match because that's what I want to see.
That's fine.
It would be entertaining. I'm so happy he is LA Knight again.
And if Mustafa Ali is on this card, I just don't know where you put him.
Honestly, I don't know where you put Ali at this point. Like,
that could change in the next 3 shows for sure, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
As of right now, though, I just don't see anything for him.
No, unfortunately, I don't. But right, gents, we have our card. We have gone through our card. Everybody, you heard our card. It's Logan versus Roman. It's Brock versus Bobby. It's Liv versus Ronda. It's Seth versus Riddle, no DQ. It's Bayley versus Bianca. It's Theory versus Keanu in the briefcase. It's Judgment Day versus the OC. It's Braun Strowman versus Omos. The Usos versus New Day. It's Drew McIntyre versus Gunther versus Karrion Kross. It's Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa. And it's the Maximum Male Models versus LA Knight in a handicap match because I want to see it. Yeah.
I just want to... His sister, I'd like to be in a match with her. No, excuse me, that's the wrong show. Yeah, my bad.
Right, ladies and gentlemen,
the Attitude Era show is on another day, man. What are you talking about?
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the show. If you enjoy what we do here at WrestleBuddy, if you like the content we put out, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out, and it's the only way the YouTube algorithm really knows we exist. That was it. Jimmy, have you got anything you want to promote?
Raw recap tonight. Watch it. And if you're invested in Buddy Wars, make sure you're tuning in because there's a little special something I heard brewing that you're going to want to check out. And if you haven't been watching Buddy Wars, go back and watch it because you're missing out. This is some very good, fun stuff. Captain's Table, that kind of played into the Buddy Wars a little bit when you got to the end. That was very fun as well. I'm really pushing this Buddy Wars thing because I think it's a lot of fun, and I think we've been having some extra fun with it. As opposed to the other stuff we do, we've kind of played around with some just having fun with it. And
now, Buddy Wars, there's an idea that came off the top of my head, and it's fast becoming my favorite part of the week. I thoroughly enjoy every single show. I appreciate everybody that's been a contestant. I can't wait to get to season 2, but the finale, season 2 is going to be something special, folks. We're changing things up a bit.
And the finale is next Monday.
The finale is 1 week today at 8 p.m. UK time. Whether the captain likes it or not, he's going to have to make 8 p.m. UK time.
Forfeit.
It's getting close.
He don't have a ship to make that, so he's going to be screwed. A captain without a boat. I've never even heard of such a thing. It's a crazy word. If you like that, tune in because we got more of it.
Right, Tyler, anything you want to promote?
Yeah, promote these type of shows. Buddy Wars, I agree with you, gentlemen. It's a great show. And Jimmy, your Raw review, Nick, your SmackDown review, anime review, and Geek Buddy, all that great stuff. And just the websites, what you guys are doing. I'm just going to change it up and plug the great team we have. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Also, we
Thanks,
have
buddy.
Quiz Buddies coming up as well. For anybody who's been missing out on that, tune in because we're doing some tag team Halloween division stuff. Quizmaster Maddie has some stuff brewing, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, for the 25th, I believe.
Yes,
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, Quiz Buddies is always a good time. It's been too long, so it's making its return for those who've been waiting.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a tag team special, and it's going to be Halloween themed. Cannot wait. Well, folks, that is the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody in the comments, everybody at home. We appreciate everybody who tunes in and watches us ramble on endlessly every single week. Absolutely love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope we'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm staying hydrated,
Bye.
Russ. See this?